Welcome to the Peak Performance Podcast, your guide to optimizing your life one health tip at a time. This podcast is designed to entertain and inform, not to provide medical or health advice. Always consult your doctor when it comes to your personal health or before you make any changes to your diet, exercise, or lifestyle.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Peak Performance Podcast. I'm Coach Kyle.
And I'm Dr. K. Thank you guys for joining us as we discuss patient or client-specific supplements. Why isn't one multivitamin enough for everyone? Like those Flintstone gummies I ate in like the third grade, like why aren't those still good for me?
Yeah, it blows my mind how many people go to Walgreens and they get the like once a day multivitamin and they're like, this is it. I'm going to be healthy because I have this it's a men's once a day or a women's once a day. That makes it specific, right?
That's good.
Which almost all the time it's marketing and they're identical.
Yes. Yes.
So why would you not want a multivitamin before I go on a rant?
So like specifically like the ones at Walgreens, because it's full of like garbage and fillers and nonsense and like cheap vitamins, you know, there's just like anything, there's grades to this, and expensive companies are better quality than cheap companies. But other than that, it's like if your vitamin D is 80 and you take more vitamin D, that's not actually good for you, right? And so I'm a firm believer in every supplement we take has to have a purpose and a reason for taking it, and not just like, here's a handful of pills, let me take all of them. And that's like, a lot of my patients, they want me to give them recommendations for supplements during our initial consult. And I'm like, you don't have any blood work, and you haven't in like 10 years. You have a list of vague symptoms. I don't actually know what to recommend for you without specific testing. Some blood work, and then if you want to get really specific, we can do micronutrient testing.
Yeah, I have clients that come set up a call with me because they want to review their list of 47 supplements they're on. And almost all the time, they're taking a bunch of stuff for no apparent reason just because marketing.
Yes. Or like Susie said that this saved her life, so I'm taking it too.
That's a good one. Yeah. So multivitamins.
Turns out Susie was anemic, but that's a whole different story.
Dang, Susie. So multivitamins, I only actually ever recommend multivitamins to people who are stabilized fully in their micronutrient profile.
Yep.
And have completed all detox, because then you can get a very good high quality multivitamin, and that'll just be a maintenance for you. And there's only one I recommend. It's I think the company's Extend, but it is like the most comprehensive multivitamin, and it is $120 a month.
Yep.
To let you know how like expensive a good multivitamin should be. But other than that, when clients are starting, I almost never put them on just a multi.
Yep. And then here, and to the naysayers out there who are like, oh, you don't need vitamins and supplements, you're just buying expensive urine. Our food is deficient in many minerals and vitamins as compared to 100 years ago. So unfortunately, it's very difficult to get a full bank of all of your vitamins and minerals from your food nowadays.
Yeah, I think it was something like 10,000 calories a day of like healthy organic food will actually get you to the full vitamin and nutrient needs you need.
Yeah, and that's because our soil is depleted and there's just literally not enough nutrients left in our soil.
Yeah. The other beef I have with multivitamins is a lot of them, if you're not getting a very high quality one, will sprinkle ingredients. They'll pixie dust them.
Yeah.
So you'll have an ingredient here. Vitamin D is a great example. I see this all the time. If someone's deficient in vitamin D and they go take a multivitamin for it, but the multivitamin they picked up is 1,000 IUs, it's not going to get their vitamin D up to where it needs to be.
Yep.
Like you need 10,000 IUs based on a severe deficiency.
Right, like your maintenance is 4,000 to 5,000. Taking 4,000 to 5,000 when you're deficient would just keep you deficient.
Yeah.
And taking 1,000 is nothing.
Yeah. Now, so imagine that. That's just vitamin D times, the 50 ingredients that are in a multivitamin.
Yep.
And you're just getting a tiny little sprinkling. So you'd have to eat, handfuls of these multivitamins to get an effective dose.
I love the multivitamins that have literally 100 ingredients in them, and there's like 1% of your daily value across like 99 of them.
That's why I like that one multivitamin, because it's like you actually have to take like 8 of them a day or something like that, because it has that many things. You got to get the mass to get the right dose.
So let's talk about testing and like how to actually know what you should take.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of it's standard blood testing. Vitamin D is a great example.
Yep.
You can test selenium, magnesium, things like that.
You can test, Quest has like significantly expanded their vitamin mineral testing. You can test quite a bit through your blood now.
Yeah. And then if you want to get into the nitty gritty, you pull something like a nutrient panel.
Like an oats test?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and it'll go literally through all the vitamins and minerals, and it'll go into way more detail than you probably need.
Yep.
But this is someone who, like, we're doing deep balancing work on. Once you get those testing, if you do the advanced testing, work with a practitioner. Yeah. Like, if you just go buy all the things that says you're low in, you're probably going to end up messed up.
Yep. Yeah, because you're going to overshoot and undershoot, and like you're going to end up hurting yourself more than you help yourself.
Yeah. So I would like to put this out here. If we do a multivitamin, quote unquote, I would prefer for a standard like multivitamin approach, it actually to be a few different supplements. A fat-soluble vitamin complex, a D, K, and E, a trace mineral complex, which covers most of the minerals, and then basically your magnesium. So that's how I would build my own multivitamin that I know has the right dosages of things.
Makes sense.
Without giving a multivitamin.
Yeah. And then along with that, everyone was asking me like what brands I like and what brands we carry. And so part of it comes down to I might like Thorne for one thing, Pure for another, Upgraded Formulas for another. So it's not just like the brand you like, it's the specific supplement out of each brand.
Yeah, the formulations are all slightly different and work for slightly different situations.
Yeah.
So on a multivitamin, one thing I do want people to be cognizant of is alpha lipoic acid. So they slip that in because it's an antioxidant to a lot of different multivitamin formulations. And if you have not tested for mercury specifically, I would avoid alpha lipoic acid as an ingredient in anything you're taking. Because what that'll do is if you're just taking it, it'll make you feel bad because you're moving around mercury. That's a mercury binder. So if you are not clear of mercury and you know or like if you haven't gone through chelation, then avoid that ingredient in basically all supplements.
What about NAC? Same thing?
That's really the same thing. Yeah. NAC is like if you have mercury and you take that in your multi, you're going to feel like trash.
Yeah. I've had multiple patients come in and like, oh, my other doctor told me to start NAC because I've been really tired or I want to detox better. And they're like, but I feel horrendous since I started taking. I'm like, it's because we know your mercury is like 400 and you're just bouncing around your body.
Yeah. There's this like myth in the supplement world where like if I feel like trash, it's working. Like in some things that's accurate, but in some things like no, we don't want to do that. Like we want to get you feeling better, not feel like trash.
Yep. Okay. What else about multivitamins?
I mean, I think that about covered it. The biggest piece of advice I can give one off about multivitamins is don't just go to your local Walgreens, CVS, and pick one up off the shelf.
No.
Like it needs to be, the brands that are solid for a multivitamin are not carried at Vitamin Shop or a GNC.
Not even Whole Foods.
No. Like you have to buy these online.
And not Amazon.
Yes. Amazon has roughly 0 regulations.
Like I could decide to start becoming a Thorne reseller tomorrow and sell Thorne on Amazon. But I could also counterfeit Thorne and also sell to Amazon. And the way Amazon works, it doesn't matter if it's sold by Amazon, sold by Thorne, sold by whoever. They have one bin, and let's say it's Thorne Vitamin D K3. They have one giant bin, and all sellers that ship their products to Amazon go into this one giant bin. And then when you buy one online through Amazon, it doesn't matter if it's sold by Thorne or sold by China. They stick their hand in, they grab one, they pull it out. And so the counterfeit ones are mixed in with the regular ones.
Yep. This is why we use a platform called FullScript,
Yep.
which does strict like, hey, your supplements have to meet these guidelines. They have to be this pure, and then they stock based on only reputable manufacturers.
Yep. iHerb is a decent one. FullScript, you need a practitioner to access it. iHerb, they are a supplement. They're the Amazon of supplements. They have almost everything, but they don't allow third-party resellers.
Yeah, very nice. Well, I think that about covers it. Okay. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to the Peak Performance Podcast. I'm Coach Kyle.
And I'm Dr. K. And remember, those Flintstone gummies, they will save your life.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Peak Performance Podcast, your #1 resource for today's top health hacks and facts. You can follow us on Instagram at the Peak Performance Pod or on X at Perform Pod. You can also check out our website and weekly blogs at peakperformancepodcast.online. Again, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. We put out a new podcast every Thursday. The content of this podcast is provided for informational purposes only and is not intended for the purposes of diagnosing, treating, curing, or preventing any disease. Before using any products referenced on the podcast, consult with your healthcare provider. Carefully read all labels and heed all directions and cautions that accompany the product. Information found or received through the podcast should not be used in place of a consultation or advice from a healthcare provider. If you suspect you have a medical problem or should you have any healthcare questions, please promptly call or see your healthcare provider. This podcast, including Coach Kyle, Dr. K, and producers, disclaim responsibility for any possible adverse effects from the use of the information contained herein. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. This podcast does not make any representations or warranties about guest qualifications or credibility. This podcast may contain endorsements and advertisements for products or services. Individuals on this podcast may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein.